Welcome to Let's Share, hosted by me, Leigh Byers, president and founder of Have Anita Ministry, a faith-based nonprofit that promotes the human interaction of sharing what we have and expressing what we need. The guests in the podcast are the people who I have connection stories with and have something meaningful to share in their communities of connection. Thank you for listening. Let's share.
I am so excited to welcome a new person in my circle of influence, Tristan Baker, who is with an organization called Isaiah 117 House. And we are going to just be having a let's share chat about how she came into this, how important this organization is, the things that they're doing. And it's going to be a wonderful time to learn about what this sharing is. So welcome, Tristan. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Tristan Baker. I am the location leader here at Isaiah 117 House in Marion County. The Isaiah 117 House, we are building a home here in Marion County where our foster children can go to once they have been removed. So currently, right now, when a child is removed from their home, they, due to neglect, due to abuse, whatever, they are taken to DCF, where they're sitting in an office. They're sitting in a room, usually windowless, usually just imagine a state office, what it feels like. And they're sitting there for hours, sometimes days, waiting for placement. So instead, we are going to be having building a home here in Marion County where they're going to come to instead.
That is fantastic. And my understanding is that although this is in Marion County, that this is a national organization. Is that correct?
It is. It was started in Elizabethton, Tennessee. Rhonda and Corey Paulson. Rhonda is an amazing woman, and I really like to let everybody know, go to our website and watch her videos. She's an amazing speaker. She's funny, but she's amazing. But her story is that her and her husband were taking foster care classes, and they were in about their 7th class when they visited the local DCF office. And the teacher had said, this is where we bring the children once they have been removed to this right here. And Rhonda looked around, and again, state office, conference table, nothing to do where children should be. And she said, "Excuse me, wait, here?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, a little 7-year-old girl slept right where you're standing." And she said she was so taken back, and she knew at that moment that we needed to do something. And so thankfully, God laid it on her heart to start the Isaiah 117 House. So that is where the first home was built. We now have 31 open homes across the United States.
That's amazing. And that is such a generous thing that people wouldn't even know or understand unless you see it. Yeah. And then when you really see it, it is so traumatic just being removed from wherever the kid is. But to be in a space that has no comfort, no home feeling, it just got to be very challenging. And I'm sure that's the mission here, is to make sure that the children just feel safe and comfortable.
Yeah, to reduce that trauma for them on that day. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very, very important. And so interestingly, I would love to know a little bit about how you guys format the houses for the kids to make this a very effective way for them to spend, whether it's 2 hours or 24 or 36.
So we have what's called Red Door Culture. And so this is every guest that enters our home is treated with, we just lavishly love on them. And that's our saying, we lavishly love on each guest that walks through our door. When they come into our home, they also have to bring with them a state worker who will stay at the house with them all the time and who gets to make all the rules and gets to say no, because us as house volunteers, we don't have to say no. we get to say yes, yes, yes to them.
Mm-hmm.
So when so many of them have not had many of those yeses, they get to walk in through that front door and ask what they want to eat. We have a fully stocked kitchen if they want somebody to cook for them. If they would rather have a Chick-fil-A, as long as it's not a Sunday, we will make sure that that's for them. We'll have playground, we will have toys, anything that a kiddo would want to do from age 1 on up. And I mean, I'm infants, of course, but we also upstairs will have our giving room. And our giving room is fully community-based donations, full of clothes and shoes and toys and stuffed animals. The purpose of that is that they will be able to leave our home with new clothes and new pajamas, new shoes, new toys, whatever their hearts desire. So it is really, the whole home is just dedicated to children on a traumatic day, that they can just forget about that day and just be a kid.
I think that's great. And especially when they're taken out, that means all their stuff is not with them anymore, their clothing, their, whatever. So having all of those resources easily available to them and provided in a way that is comfortable, I think is an amazing way for this organization to work. So, this is such an amazing organization that you're a part of and you're committed to. And what I love for people to do is to share. And what I would love for you to hear you share, because Have a Need a Ministry, the focus is giving plus receiving equal sharing. So when we give, it's amazing. And when we receive, it's amazing. And you're definitely giving, but we'd also like to receive more information about how you were called personally to do this. What brought you to this space in your life that you feel this is where you need to be?
This is probably one of my favorite topics because it is so near and dear to us, and we didn't know that it would be. I have 3 older children, and when my baby was going into her senior year, we begged my husband to be foster parents. We wanted a baby, like we wanted to love on those babies. And he kept saying, no, it's just not the right time. We're getting ready to be childless. Let's do the mom and dad thing. And okay, well, somebody from the Isaiah 117 house, Renee Curry. I will never, ever forget her. She's near and dear to my heart, but they came to our church and they talked to us about the Isaiah 117 house. And at the time, Jeff and I, that's my husband, we had owned an HVAC company. So we went to their kickoff and Rhonda was there. And we got to hear Rhonda speak. And my husband, I think that you got to meet him. He is 6'3", about 280. He's big boy, big teddy bear, likes to make people laugh. Came out of that room just bawling. Mm-hmm. And he said kind of what you said. Now that you know, you have to do something. We can't unknow this. These kiddos need us. So he walked up to Rhonda and said, consider the HVAC in the house in Cleveland. This is in Cleveland. I'm sorry, I don't think I stated with that. We started in Tennessee. Yeah, we had just moved to Florida about 4 years ago. So this is when we were still in Tennessee. So he had walked up to Rhonda and said, consider the HVAC done in your home. And she said, okay, oh, that's great. And we talked a little bit. And then he walked over to the DCF table. They had a table set up there. And he said, we want to sign up for foster care classes. And so, my daughter and I are like, yes, yeah, we're doing this. So we went through the whole process to become foster parents. And our really focus was to do emergent care just overnight because we both worked full time. We owned a business. And so it was a little crazy. So fast forward to a couple of kiddos in our home, we got a call at about 2:00 in the afternoon for a sibling set of 4. And we were only licensed for 2, but they just wanted to know if we could keep the 4 overnight. They were removed for environmental reasons. So meaning that they were not bringing anything with them except for their backpacks. And we, of course, said yes, bring them on. So Jeff had left work and he went to Walmart so that he could get clothes and pajamas and things for the kiddos the next day. And he stopped and got pizza, and we were ready for them by 3:30. They did not show up at our house until 10:00 that night. So what we didn't know was that they were a sibling set of 7. So they were sitting in a conference room while the workers were trying to find a family to keep all 7 of them together. So the workers were diligently trying to just keep them together, keeping these 7 kids in a conference room, feeding them from the vending machines because that's what they had available. Probably going in there and screaming at them to settle down because 7 kids in a conference room, you can imagine.
Yeah.
The 4 got into our home at 10 o'clock at night. Jeff's doing the paperwork, take them around the house. So, look, we have pizza. Go ahead and eat. Here's where you're going to shower. Here's my dogs. Here's the bathroom. Let's wash your clothes, because the clothes that Jeff had went to Walmart for did not fit them at all. So it was just chaos. And so they got into bed about midnight. We had ended up pulling all the mattresses into one room so they could stay together that night. And it was across the way from us. So we heard them talking and things that they said and being scared and not knowing what was going on. And then they left at 6 o'clock the next morning to go back to the DCF office to wait for placement. The other side of that is we did end up getting them back, the 4, and we had them for 15 months so that we could keep them together. But just imagine if there was a home that they could have went to instead of DCF, where all 7 of them could have went to a home, ate a meal, even if it was 7 different meals. That's what we do. Been able to relax, play a video game, watch TV, color, draw, play Legos, play Barbies, whatever that they could have done to decompress, as well as just to be loved on instead of sitting in an office by themselves. Just imagine they could have gone upstairs to the giving room and picked their own clothes where everything would have fit them, and they could have went to their next placement with clothes. Just what a difference that day would have been for them. And that's where it really hit us, that this house really is needed, because it was personal now. Yeah. It was personal before because there are kiddos in our county that we need to take care of. We need to defend the fatherless, but also it was personal because, I mean, we love these kiddos. We were investing in these kiddos, and this was their start of foster care. So with that, I've seen the same thing over and over and over again. Even I have new kiddos in my care, and it wasn't any different at that point. And just this home is needed, at least for that traumatic day for them.
Yeah, that's an incredible investment. And again, it's not something that I think people are completely aware of.
Right.
And this temporary thing is actually such a core situation because it is a major trauma and transition for them that they did not expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that people that are prepared and understand, and that there is an environment where they can come into it and feel seen, is a big deal.
Yes.
Very impressive that is taking place. And I think even more importantly in this conversation, that people understand the why of what the house is. Because even for me, when I first connected with you all, that was one of my questions. I was trying to understand exactly what is this, because I'm familiar with children's home situations and how they've changed the laws on some of that and things like that, but I was not aware of this. And even in this nonprofit, I have served a family where the senior parents were living in a motel and the kids were given, not even in foster care, they just let them off to other people. And, I've seen some weird things too. And just providing something that is secure. And I'm sure for some of these kids, the kind of house that they're coming into with Isaiah 117 is a better home than what they're usually in.
Yes, unfortunately. And it's interesting because, and this is something that just came to mind to me within the past couple of months, is I went to, it was a training, and the trainer had put up on the board trauma. And trauma is actually, I guess all my time I thought trauma was what happened, but trauma is actually the response to the event. And that took me back because I thought, we really do have a shot here of helping reduce the trauma on this day. So that again just even sunk in more of, oh yes, we've got to get this house up and get these babies taken care of.
Very important. And one of my backgrounds is I was served as an executive director of a mental health organization, faith-based, that the primary role was trauma. Mm-hmm. And there is a program down there in Miami-Dade County called Bounce. Mm-hmm. And they work with kids that are probably age 9 to 17 or 18 that experience trauma and how it impacts them. But one thing that is really challenging with trauma is that sometimes kids need a little bit of time before they're even ready for that type of therapy.
Yes.
Because they're just reactive for a season, just reacting to the shocking situation in the moment. So again, as you say, providing something that is a good view, that is just comfortable, it can reduce the trauma that they're experiencing, because there's not much you can do to control the fact that they're in a traumatic situation, except provide a surrounding. And that is what I think is really amazing about what you all are doing, is it's a surrounding that can mitigate. It won't eliminate, but it will mitigate some of the trauma that they're experiencing.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So.
And that is the point. And again, sending them off to their foster home, maybe with a little bit more successful outlook.
And foster care has got its own challenges and
That it does.
scenarios that you all can't control, but you can do something that is very important in that initial shocking moment. And how do you connect with the organizations? I'm assuming it's, again, the DCF and different things like that. How the connection made with Isaiah 117 to bring them to your setting?
So another big part of our mission is to make sure that our child welfare workers are feeling appreciated. They get a bad rep. They, you either love them or you hate them. There's usually not an in between. And honestly, they're just doing what they've been told to do. And doing it well, maybe not to where we think they are, but doing the best they can. So once a month, us as a group, we go out to DCF or to Kids Central, to YFA, and we take them gifts of appreciation and we make that relationship. And each agency in our county has absolutely welcomed us with open arms and are excited for the home to get here. They do realize the need and realize the positive role this is going to play.
And what is the mission in terms of the size of the home and the location? Is the location already established?
So we had some land donated to us. We had an acre donated. And so we are in the process of, did the rezoning, and now we are in the process of the planning and planning out the acre. Once that is taken care of, then it will be put into the Isaiah 117 house name, and then we can start pulling permits. So we are very close to groundbreaking.
And how big would the house be at the best scenario? I'm assuming it's not necessarily always just one group a night.
So the house is actually, they're all the houses. If you look at all the 31 opens homes, they are all very similar, and they all look the same from the outside. And they are now just getting a plan where all the houses will be the same. So it is technically a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then we have a game room onto the side, so extra space. Mostly we do only have one family at a time, because a lot of the times trauma meeting trauma doesn't always mix for a peaceful environment.
Okay.
There may be times where it would be okay, babies or small ones, where we could intermix families, but we also have an extra space where we can add another smaller family if we need to.
That's excellent. And just curious on this, I've worked in children's ministry, and there's a little vigilance of protection. So how do you guys ensure that the kids are safe in your space? Nobody knows where they are, correct? Of how that plays.
Yeah, we don't post where we are as far as the house goes, and then we do have cameras and alarms. Again, there will always be a state worker with volunteers, so we'll never just be alone with the kiddos.
That's great. It just sounds like such an amazing opportunity for this county to have a resource to be able to really do something for these children. It'd be great if you never had that issue to ever deal with, but unfortunately, that's not how it works in this world. So it is excellent to know that this is coming here. And I was looking on the website, and by the way, can you provide us the website link? Yes, please.
Yep. So it's just the Isaiah117house.com.
Isaiah117house.com.
Yes. And then if you want to go to us particularly, there are all the locations on the website where you can see where they all are. So obviously you'd go to Florida. We will be the 4th house to open in Florida. There are already 2 open houses, and one is getting ready to do their groundbreaking at the end of this month. So that's exciting. And then we will be shortly after them.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask you is I noticed that there are 3 other counties that also have a chapter.
Yes.
So it's amazing. And it's mostly up here more there in the northern, western and northern central Florida.
We do have Duval County and Baker County are open homes. Hillsborough they're the ones getting ready to do their groundbreaking. And then we do have Sarasota, where we're at. I think they're still searching for land or still trying to get their land finalized.
It's amazing. And I think that the state of Florida is probably going to be continually more open to this. And I really hope that anybody who's listening to this podcast, if there's not something going on in your county, how would you recommend that they reach out and say, hey, we want one of those in our county? How do they do that?
There is a spot to do that on the website. So if you go to the Isaiah117house.com, yes, there's a spot to apply, and there will be some processes. You have to make a video and things, but yes, there are.
Okay, well, and then the other thing is that you have the opportunity to do events to let people know what's going on. And how we met was that you came to our church one day and there was lemonade.
Yes, look at that. So we actually have a big event next weekend, the 18th, 19th, and 20th of July. And it is our Lemonade Stand weekend. So it's done across all of the United States. All of the Isaiah 117 houses participate. And what it is just our community telling more of the community about Isaiah 117 House. So we have volunteers who will set up a lemonade stand at businesses, at parks, in front of their home, wherever. There's no particular right or wrong there, but as people visit, we give a free cup of lemonade and we tell them about the Isaiah 117 house.
Fantastic.
So we're just looking to spread it across. If you want to see the locations and you have Facebook or Instagram, follow us and we will keep you up to date on where all of our lemonade stands are.
Well, what's so funny about that is when I heard that there was a lemonade stand at our church that day, I thought, oh, well, I'll go buy some lemonade, but you give it away free.
We do.
I love that. You share lemonade.
That's right. Well, that's if you can see my shirt.
Oh.
It says take a stand, and then there's 1 cup at a time. So that's for our lemonade stand.
I think that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And such a great mission to just share. I love that. And that's really the whole purpose of why I do this podcast, is because I want to encourage people on what's out there that's being shared and what they can receive. Yes. And I love the things that people can get for free. And the other thing I love to do is encourage people if they want to be a part of a community volunteering and things like that. So how does that play out for you all?
So we have a lot of opportunities to volunteer. Of course, when the house is open, there will be several. I mean, even if you're not wanting to be in the house with the children, there's all kinds of things that will need to be done. But right now, so like I said, we go out once a month and take care of our caseworkers, our child welfare workers. We can always use somebody on that team to help us there. We have baking opportunities if baking is your thing. We have lemonade stands. And even though we have this lemonade stand weekend, we do it at churches and in different events. We have Gift for Marion coming up. That will be a big event. We have a fall festival coming up. So we are always in events that we always can use just an extra hand. Nothing huge. Just sometimes it's just nice to see a smiling face there.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think for people in volunteering, I think it's a really great thing because people can serve children even if they don't want to be the direct person serving children.
Yes.
And I think that's a wonderful thing. And vice versa. There are people that maybe don't want to do all that other stuff, but all they want to do is serve those kids. And I'm sure 100% that there is a very important background check that is required for anybody that is even remotely close to where the kids are.
Absolutely. Yes. That fingerprinting, reference checks, the whole thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, I have really enjoyed our chat today, and I really appreciate you sharing everything from your personal to your work life and in your service life. And I wondered if there's anything else you want to share, like you guys on social media, can people follow you?
Absolutely. We are on Facebook and Instagram. Look us up. You look up the Isaiah 117 House, Marion, Florida, because there actually is another Marion County that has a house in Indiana. So to follow us, just make sure you put in that FL. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me, MarionFL at Isaiah117house.com. That comes directly to me, and I'll be glad to talk to you on the phone or answer any questions that you may have or get you in the right direction.
That's fantastic. And I guess the last question I should have is, tell us about Isaiah 117. Is it a verse? Is it a chapter? Is it a
It is a verse. So it is learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause.
117.
Yes.
Great. That's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that too, because really the foundation of what you all are doing is that God wants you to do it. And
Absolutely.
this is the why.
Yes.
So thank you so much for what you do. And I look forward to seeing all the amazing progress that's going to happen. And maybe when that house is finally built, we'll do another podcast. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's fun.
all right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your time listening to this Let's Share podcast. Our hope is that you receive some inspiration to give and receive, because giving plus receiving equals sharing. If you want to learn more about Have a Need a Ministry, go to haveaneedaministry.com. Look forward to connecting soon.